When a man is truly in love, something shifts in the way he expresses himself, and it's not always loud or obvious to the outside world. His emotional transparency becomes a language only the woman he cares for deeply can recognize, because it's in the subtle ways he allows himself to be seen. Men aren't naturally conditioned to reveal their inner world easily. Many grow up believing that vulnerability is a risk, a weakness, or something that could be used against them. But with the woman he loves madly, he finds himself saying things he never imagined he'd say out loud, not because he rehearsed them, but because she feels like a safe place in a world that often demands he be guarded. He expresses fears, worries, hopes, and insecurities that he usually keeps locked behind emotional armor. And in moments where he says asterisk, "I've never told anyone this before," asterisk, he is not just sharing information. He is sharing himself in a way that reveals the depth of his trust. And he begins to say things that show his emotional walls are lowering, little by little, in ways that feel natural rather than forced. He might admit that he overthinks, that he gets jealous sometimes, or that he's afraid of not being good enough for the life he wants with you, because being honest with you feels more freeing than pretending to be perfect. He shares stories from his past that shaped him, including the painful ones he usually keeps hidden from others. He lets you see the things he's proud of and the things he struggles with without trying to control how you'll perceive him. And when he says asterisk, "I don't want to lose you," asterisk or asterisk, "I feel better when I talk to you," asterisk, it's not a tactic. It's a confession of emotional truth. His transparency becomes a bridge between his world and yours, one that he only builds when his heart is genuinely invested. And he finds himself speaking more openly, even in small, everyday moments, because loving you makes honesty feel like the natural state. He tells you when something bothered him instead of shutting down, because he wants to protect the connection rather than push it away. He tells you when he's stressed, tired, or overwhelmed, because he trusts you enough to show his unfiltered self. He begins to express gratitude more often, saying things like asterisk, "I appreciate you," asterisk, not because he feels obligated, but because he feels seen, supported, and understood. And as he opens up, the tone of his words changes softer, warmer, more vulnerable, revealing that he feels emotionally safe in a way he may not have felt before. And he says things that signal he's not trying to impress you, but trying to connect with you. He admits when he's wrong, he shares when he's uncertain, and he expresses the emotions he would normally bury under silence. When he tells you asterisk, "I feel safe with you," asterisk or asterisk, "I've never felt this way with anyone," asterisk, he is letting you into the inner room of his heart, the one he doesn't show casually. His emotional transparency becomes a quiet form of devotion, a sign that he trusts you with the parts of himself he usually protects fiercely. And even if the world doesn't notice the shift in his words, you will, because the phrases he speaks are not just sentences. They are the clearest indicators of a love that runs deep, honest, and undeniably real. When a man is deeply in love, his words naturally begin to stretch beyond the present moment and reach into the future without him even realizing it. He starts speaking in ways that reveal he's imagining life with you, not just time with you. When he says things like asterisk, "We should go there someday," asterisk, it's not a casual suggestion. It's his subconscious revealing that he sees you by his side weeks, months, or even years from now. His language quietly shifts from I to we, and not because he's trying to be romantic, but because partnership has already become his internal default. He includes you in plans that haven't happened yet, pictures you in experiences he hasn't lived yet, and frames possibilities as shared adventures. This is one of the clearest signs of emotional investment, because men do not project the future with someone they don't see as emotionally significant. And he begins to express ideas that show he values stability and long-term consistency with you. He might say, and next year, let's try that, or when things settle down, we should do this together, revealing that he's mentally placing you in chapters of his life he hasn't even written yet. These phrases are more meaningful than grand gestures because they come from a place of genuine comfort and emotional clarity. He is not creating fantasies, he's acknowledging the growing permanence of your presence in his heart. His future-focused language is an unconscious form of commitment, signaling that he's no longer thinking in terms of temporary moments, but building a timeline where you are woven into the fabric of his life. Even small comments about holidays, seasons, or routines begin to include you, showing how naturally you've become part of his vision, and he starts planning in ways that show emotional responsibility and intentionality. Instead of vague statements, he speaks about actions, let's save for that trip, we should plan this early, I want to build something solid with you, these are phrases that reveal not just affection but effort. His words shift from wishful to intentional. Love makes him want to prepare, to create, to organize possibilities so that they can become real experiences you share together. And even when he talks about obstacles or challenges in his life, he frames them in a way that shows he sees you as part of the solution, not someone who will fade from the picture. His planning is not pressure, it's a reflection of how deeply intertwined you've become with his sense of direction, and he finds himself speaking with more clarity about what he wants emotionally, mentally, and relationally. He may say I want something real with you, I see us going far, I'm trying to build a future I'm proud of, and I want you in it. These phrases come from a place of emotional sincerity rather than performance. His words become more anchored, more secure, and more reflective of a man who sees love as a journey rather than a moment. When he talks about dreams, goals, or the kind of life he wants, your presence is woven into those visions. Without forcing it, he reveals that his future feels incomplete without you, and his language becomes the quiet but undeniable proof of a love that imagines, includes, and commits on its own. And when a man loves a woman deeply, his words naturally shift into a language of protection and emotional responsibility, often without him even noticing the change. He begins saying things like I've got you, not because he's trying to seem strong, but because he genuinely wants to be a source of stability in her life. His instinct becomes to ease her burdens and calm her worries, even in the smallest ways. When he tells her you don't have to go through that alone, it's not a line, it's an instinctive response born from real care. He begins to think about how his choices affect her, how his presence impacts her, and how he can create an environment where she feels emotionally safe. His words reflect a desire to stand beside her through challenges, not disappear when things get hard. This form of verbal protection is subtle, but it speaks volumes about the depth of his connection, and he starts to speak with a sense of devotion that is grounded, steady, and reliable. He may say tell me what you need, asterisk, not as a formality, but as a sincere invitation to let him into her world. His love shows up in the way he listens, the way he responds, and the way his words shift from passive to purposeful. He begins to ask if she made it home safely, if she's okay, if she needs anything, because her well-being has become part of his emotional priorities. This isn't possessive behavior, it's care rooted in emotional loyalty. His concern doesn't come with demands, ultimatums, or expectations. It simply comes from wanting her to feel supported, and in moments when she's struggling, his words turn into a calm kind of reassurance that comes from a man who wants to be her emotional anchor, and he begins speaking in ways that show he is not only present, but invested in protecting the connection they share. He might say asterisk, talk to me, asterisk or asterisk, we'll figure this out together, asterisk, because for him, distance is not an option when emotions are involved. He tries to communicate instead of shutting down, because losing emotional closeness with her feels more painful than confronting the hard conversations. His protective language extends beyond physical safety. It includes emotional, mental, and relational safety. He avoids words that could damage her trust, and instead chooses words that build understanding and partnership. And even when he disagrees or feels frustrated, he communicates with care, because he values the bond more than the argument, and his words begin to reflect an unspoken promise that he wants to be her shelter, not her storm. When he says asterisk, I'm here, asterisk, he means it not just in the moment, but in the long-term sense of the word. His presence is expressed through the steadiness of his reassurance, the consistency of his concern, and the depth of his commitment. He uses language that makes her feel seen, valued, and emotionally held in ways that go far beyond romance. And even if he doesn't always articulate it perfectly, the intention behind his words is clear. He wants to be the person she can rely on, the one who stands steady when life becomes overwhelming. His devotion is embedded in every phrase that offers comfort, support, or protection, revealing a love that is strong, grounded, and fiercely genuine. And he begins to admire things about you that go far beyond appearance, and his words start revealing how deeply he sees you on an emotional and intellectual level. He says things like asterisk, I love how your mind works, asterisk, because he's paying attention to the way you think, decide, and observe the world. He notices your compassion, your resilience, your humor, your discipline, and he reflects these qualities back to you through his language. His compliments start sounding like they come from someone who studies you, not someone who only looks at you. He appreciates the way you solve problems or how you bring calm to chaos without even realizing it. He admires how you speak your truth, how you stand up for yourself, and how you treat people with kindness. His admiration becomes specific, thoughtful, and personal rather than generic. And each time he speaks, you feel seen on a level that feels rare and meaningful, and he expresses how much he values your presence, not just your beauty, which is something a man does only when he's emotionally invested. He says things like asterisk, you make everything better, asterisk, because your energy genuinely shifts the quality of his experiences. He tells you he's proud of you, not because he's trying to impress you, but because your growth inspires him in ways he never expected. He talks about how your ambition motivates him or how your strength makes him admire you even more. He points out qualities you didn't even know he noticed, celebrating your character in moments when you're doubting yourself. His admiration becomes a form of emotional encouragement, a reflection of how deeply he believes in who you are. And each word he speaks carries the weight of genuine affection rather than superficial praise, and he begins to verbalize how you affect his life in ways that are transformative rather than temporary. He says things like asterisk, you inspire me, asterisk, because your presence pushes him to become a better version of himself. Your consistency makes him reflect on his own. Your discipline reminds him of what he wants to achieve, and your empathy softens him in ways he didn't know he needed. His compliments begin to merge with confessions, confessions of impact, influence, and emotional connection. He doesn't just admire what you look like, he admires what you bring into his life. He values how you listen to him, how you support him, and how you challenge him when he needs it. His words reflect a man who is emotionally awakened by your existence, and through that awakening, his admiration grows deeper and more sincere, and he starts speaking in ways that acknowledge your worth even when you forget it yourself. He says things like asterisk, you don't know how amazing you are, asterisk, not to flatter you but to help you see what he sees. He notices your efforts, the little things you do that most people overlook, and he makes sure you hear the appreciation you rarely receive. His admiration becomes steady, consistent, and emotionally grounded, never based on convenience or circumstance. He sees your heart, your intentions, and your core values, and he speaks to those qualities with a kind of reverence. His words feel safe, uplifting, and deeply genuine, revealing that he's not just attracted to you, he's moved by you, and through every thoughtful phrase, he shows that his love is rooted in who you are, not just how you appear.